Welcome to back to You Can Do It. So we've got a VW T5.2 2-litre turbo diesel. We're going to do a cam belt change. Now I've got detailed videos on this before when I did the last one. So you've got a video of the tools you need. You've got a video of actually taking everything off ready to do the cam belt change. And then you've got actually a video on the cam belt change and then a video on putting it all back together again. So this video is the second time we're changing the cam belt on this vehicle, and it's a really quick and dirty video. So if you want a quick overview of what you're going to do, this is the video for you. If you want a detailed one, look at the other videos. Straight to the point. So this is a Continental kit, which I've bought for replacing the cam belt now. So this has got the water pump on it, the belt, and all the idlers and the tensioner and everything in here. Now these are original suppliers to VW. Obviously VW don't actually make the kits, they just get them made by people like this and then put the VW sticker on it. So this is an original supplier to VW, so this is good to go. I mean, whatever kit you choose, that's up to you. So let's do a quick and dirty. So first things first, we're going to jack this up, put an axle stand underneath the subframe, and then we're going to take the wheel off. Now we need the jack later on because we need to support the engines. And then I'm going to take the under tray off, and then we can get to the nitty gritty. Okay, I actually ended up putting the axle stand underneath the actual body jack point. So wheels off, under trays off, so we're ready to get going on the job. So first things first, I'm using this kit here, the laser toolkit. You need to take that one there just to lock your auxiliary belt tensioner. So you need a 16mm socket on a long spanner. We'll go down and we'll take the auxiliary belt off. Okay, there's the 16mm. You put your socket on there, you turn it clockwise until that goes up, and then you can put your pin in there, and now your belt is all loose here. So I can take the belt off. So take your belt off, make sure you know which way it goes round, and let me just take that all off now. All right, so now I need just to get a 10mm spline socket and undo these 4 bolts here that hold the pulley on the flywheel. Yeah, you don't need to undo that nut because that's how you turn the cranks. You just need to undo these 4 10mm spline bolts on the pulley. So let me do that now. I basically just have a long socket that goes right here, comes outside, and it's just easy to turn. So that came off. Now you might find, it depends what climate you're in, but if the bolt that goes through there's gone a little bit rusty, you have to sort of wiggle it like that with your hand, and don't try and lever against it because this is plastic. So you just got to move it like that. I just had to sort of wiggle it off like that gently. Now you might have to tap it with a hammer just to get it started. Be very gentle with it and wiggle it off, and it comes off. Okay, so now we're left with that. So there's 2 bolts there, 2 little torque bits, and there's 2 above it. So we're just going to do all the work down here underneath first. So, all right, so I've taken that one off, and then there's another one there which I've taken off. But to get to the one that's there, I have to just undo that and take that locking pin out. So that moves out of the way, and I can undo that one. All right, that's off now. So you can see that bolt there. So I'll undo that one. While we're here, you can use your 16mm to undo this bolt here. So this is off the engine mount, and then what we'll do is we'll put a jack underneath the. All right, that bolt's out. It's a long old bolt, so that one's out. So now what we're going to do is we're going to put a jack under here on a piece of wood to spread the weight across here, so we don't deform this or break it. And then we're going to just put a little bit of pressure on that engine, just a tiny bit, just to support that engine, and then we'll go up the top. Right, the jack's there. Look, it's trying to support the weight across. I've also put a tarp underneath because when I do the water pump, you're going to get a lot of water coming out. And I'm doing it the quick way, yeah? So get yourself ready like that. Now we can go up top, so everything else we're going to do now is from the top. Right, so we're up top now, so we need to take these air filter off. Take these plugs out. You know how to take those off. You just put your thumb in there and pull. But if it's tight, yeah, so push it down that way and then do it, and it'll come off easy. But tap these up here. I'll do the same with this one here. This is a little bit more tricky, this one. All right, you just have to pull that little grey tab up, and then that should let this off. That comes off like that. So tap these all behind here somewhere so they're out of the way. So now you've got 2 clips here. One clip. There we go. One clip there, and there's one on the other side. I'll let the air filter come off, but we need to squeeze this with a pair of pliers. Squeeze that, take that off. So let me do that. Right, tuck that up there out of the way, because that now means that you can take that off. That's the top of your air filter. That's out of the way. Then you've got your air filter there. So let's take that out. It's a good time to change your filter if you need to. That's pretty good. This one's good. the air filter's there. So now we're going to get this box out, okay? Now, there's, if you just see down there, look, you can just see there's a little drain there. So we just need to take that off of the bottom of the air box. So that's just a little push and pull it off. And there's a bolt here, 10mm little bolt here you take out. There we go. Just got 10mm there. Put that up there, and that'll allow us then to get this box out. Now this pushes in there with some rubbers. So it's quite a feat to pull that out. So let me pull that out. Well, I've taken the little grill out there so we can vacuum that all up and clean it all up. But there's that little spigot there. So you've got a rubber here. So that's when you're trying to pull this off, you're thinking it's never going to come off because you've got to get that spigot out of there, and it is a bit of a pain in the bum. So let me pull that out. So you really have to pull it. You feel like you're going to break it. You really pull it, and that comes off. Okay, and then we can take the box out. All right, the box is out now. I have to say that's a little bit of a Chinese puzzle, but you have to take the inlet off from that side as well. And then we're left all down there. So we're only taking that box off to get to that nut there in the middle of the video. That's the only reason we're doing it. I reckon with a ring spanner, you could actually get to that without it. So if you've got a ring spanner that'll fit that, you might be able to do it without even taking the box out. Okay, so that's all done. So now we're really ready to start. We'll just take the turbo pipe off. You get your screwdriver down there and lift that clip up there. So that's high. And then what we can do is that if you look down there, there's a 10mm bolt there, which I've just undone. The turbo pipe will be free, and we can lift this up here, put a screwdriver under here, and lift that up so it turns. Okay, so that pipe's come out of there. We've just managed to turn that and twist that like that. So we'll just put something in there so nothing falls in it. And now we're all ready to start taking the engine mount off, and then we can start doing the cam belt change. Easy peasy. This is all supported by the jack underneath. I can undo that one first, yeah, and then just lift it with the jack a little bit so I know that this lifts off, then I know it's safe, and then I can undo the bolt around the side there, and this one. So we've got 1, 2, the third one underneath we've already taken off. So let's just undo. So we do this one first, lift the jack a little bit so that the engine comes up, then we know it's supported. Then we can undo those 3, take that top off, and then the final 2, and take the bracket off, and then we're ready to change the cam belt. All right, that's an 18mm, and this is 16mm. So I'm just going to whip them off. All right, so that's all loose here, look. Take the whole thing off. You can't lift it too much with the jack because actually you've got the other engine mount in the middle. So don't jack it up too much because you'll punch through the bottom of your thing. But this one's off. That just leaves us those 2 bolts there on either side, and we'll take that other bracket off. All right, so now you can get to that little bolt there, that little the last one there. So that's undone. So all of the plastics are undone. So now we can just unclip here. There's a clip here. There, that's off. Let's just take this one here, this little thing out there, that's off. And there's another clip behind the back there. And then this whole thing here, and there's a clip there. There we are. So there was a clip there, look. And now this whole thing comes off. There we are. So the whole plastic, take the top one off, put that somewhere, and then this bottom one here, look, that can come off as well, to reveal your cam belt. Right, so this has done 170 odd thousand kilometers, and the problem with these is not necessarily the belt snaps, is that the tensioner goes, or one of these tend to go here. Because if you think of the size difference between that pulley and that pulley, if you're doing 2,000 or 3,000 with the engine, this is probably doing about 10,000 at least. So this thing just gets completely annoying. It's like having your angle grinder on all day when you drive this car. So these are the ones that fail. This fails, this fails. That looks like it's got a bit of a oil it's failed as well a little bit. So yeah, so now let's get ready to do the cam belt change, which is relatively easy. So we need to get the engine to top dead center and set it down the bottom there. So now we need to go down to the bottom with a socket on the crankshaft, and we'll turn that around. So we need to rotate this until we can get the locking pins in. It's very hard to see, but this has got a little arrow there. So we need to rotate that so that arrow is pointing up here. So I'm going to go down the bottom and turn the engine until that arrow is roughly there, and then we know we're roughly in the right place at the bottom for the crank. All right, so if you have a look at your cog down the bottom there, you'll see that depending on whether the mark on there is on a point or a dip. See, mine's on a point, so it would need to have the tool that's got the arrow that would point to the top. Yeah, so I know it's this tool. So the other one, the arrow points on this one, which is a thing here. So this goes in now, and we can lock that on the bottom crank. All right, look quickly. I've got on my other videos, it's got more details, but you can see the mark there. Look, is on the point. That means that the tool has to fit. The points of the tool have to fit together, and then it goes into that, and the thing goes into that hole there. Look. So I'm going to put this on, and it can only go on one way. You can't really get it on wrong because there won't be enough space for it. So let's have a quick look at this one. All right, so that's in there. I need to go. Okay, so there's I've just highlighted it with a bit of Tipex. Look, they're in line there, so they're perfect. So that's locked the engine. So now we can go up the top and lock the top one. Right, so take these two pins. One of them should go in the middle here. Yeah, look, there's one there. One goes in there. Now that should push in to the thing, and it doesn't feel like it is at the moment. So let me try and get that to fit. All right, that's in now. That's sitting in there nicely. That's in there deep. So that means that's locked, and now we just need to lock. All right, so that one's in as well. So basically, if you want some more details, have a look on my other video. But that's in there. That's locked that. So that means it's all still timed up, even though it's done 170,000 odd kilometers on this belt. So now we can start undoing. We'll undo this one here. All right, yeah. So what I do is I'll take off this idler here. Take these idlers off, and then the belt comes off a lot easier. And you see, look, you see that pointer there in the center? That's still in the in the center of that slot. So she's still all timed up and tensioned up. So actually, she's not doing too bad. So this whole thing about 210,000, it's good for the belt. All right, just take a 6mm socket, pop it in there, and turn it anti-clockwise like that. Look, that just releases all the tension in this belt here. Yeah, and then I'm going to undo that one and this one here, and then that'll be all loose, and I can take the belt off. We're going to take the water pump out. So there's 3 bolts here, so I'm going to undo those 3 bolts and leave it in situ, and then literally I'm going to pull that out, put the new one straight back in. Take the new one out of the packet, which I've done. Now that's been tested. That's a metal pump. Now you might get a plastic one on here, but this is a metal one. Actually, much metal and much prefer metal. What I'm going to do now then is I'll put a little bit of grease, or actually coconut oil around the seal there. So the plan is to undo the 3 bolts holding the one on now, and then as soon as that's loose, I'll tap it because they can be a bit tight, and then I'll pull this out, pull the old one out, and put this straight back in, and we'll lose a limited amount of fluid. And I've got a big can catcher under there. So that'll loose. All right, there's the new one. So I'm gonna whip that out, put the new one in, and there's a tray underneath there to catch the water. So that is definitely a 2-hand job. So I'll see you in a minute. That's the new water pump in. So the old one's in, the old one's out, the new one's in, fully tightened up. Torques, I don't know, you have to look at my other video. This was the old one that had a plastic. If you looked at my other video where I did all this, I did a much more detailed view of this, but that was the one that went in. That's done 170,000 kilometers. That's fine. That's all been tightened up, and now we can start putting the cam belt in. So generally I put it around the bottom first, and then come up around here, and then I put the idlers in and things like that. So let me just get the new belt out, and we'll put it on. Okay, I've got the fluid that came out, and I've got it through a porous kitchen towel, and it's a great way to recycle, save the planet, rather than buying all this stuff, because this is all good stuff. So and it's clearing any muck that was in there, clearing that out. So I'm just going to continue like that. I'm going to put all the fluid that drained out back in. All right, that's worked really well. Look, that's collected a lot of rubbish, and that was, I think that must have actually come from the stuff inside the engine, rather than, because the container was actually pretty clean. So that's worked. So if you look at that now, she's almost virtually full. Obviously, when the engine runs, it's going to get rid of some air pockets and stuff. Top that up with a bit of water. But I wanted to get a head on it just to make sure that we haven't got any leaks from the pump while I'm actually putting the rest of it all back together. If there's any obvious leaks, it will start tripping right now. Wait till we start up. Okay, so let's get back to putting the belt on. All right, so this is the new belt. That's the old belt. Now, people go like this and go, oh, look at that, you know, it's starting to crack. Trust me, if you do that with a new belt, you'll get exactly the same. But I'm not going to do it with a new belt because I don't think it's particularly good for it to have such a tight circle like that, tight radius like that. But if you do that with the new belt, you'll get exactly the same. So don't be scared about that. But that belt was fine. That would go for ages. Not a problem with that at all. It's never worth having a spare one of them because if that goes, you're knackered. So that's going to go in the bin. So let's put this new one on. So I'm just going to run around the bottom and round these two, and then we'll start putting the idlers in. All right. Next, I'll put this one on here, right down at the bottom. Loosely there. I haven't actually tightened that nut. Just so you know, that nut is stiff. I think it's deliberately got a slightly odd thread so that it doesn't. There's no way that can come off. So don't worry if you start putting that on by hand and it suddenly gets really tight. Okay, so I'm just going to leave it like that because sometimes I need to take that off to get that belt on. So we've got that one. I've done that one loosely as well. And then we'll try and put the belt on now. Okay, in my kit, I get a spare stud. So what I'm going to do, I've put 2 of the new bolts on there, locked them up, and now I can just undo that. I've just undone the stud. Now this is because it's the second time, third belt. So I just want to make sure that's fallen down there. So I'm going to pick that up. Yeah, so look, this is the old one, this is the new one. So I'll put the new one back in, lock the nuts like that and tighten it up. Well, what I like is just put like a socket there or something, just so that's in the teeth there. And that's, if you don't have something like that, then it constantly keeps coming out and it's a right pain. So just leave that in there, just like that loose. And then when you start moving around up the top, you know that's actually located properly in the underneath. All right, look, I've got it on. You have to put that on fully, on there, but without the nut on. And then this, like halfway, most of the way, get it on. And then when that's sort of right, I haven't put this. Oh, sorry, you can't see that there. I haven't put that idler on and the bottom idler on because that'll tighten everything up when I need to. But we're just going to make sure that's right and then push in. And with this one, make sure the little tab at the back is the old one. Here's the old one there. Make sure that little tab there sticks in the slot. I mean, I've got it on my other video, but if you want to see, you can put a camera down there, your phone down there, make sure it sits in that slot and then that sits nice and flush. Okay, so now that's looking good. I think I can start pushing that belt fully on. In my haste, when we took the old belt on, I should have loosened these 3 nuts here. So we need to loosen those 3 nuts and these 3 here. But because it's all locked with that, we can just undo those. And that's just to allow a little bit of play, where although the cam, the crank and the pump are all locked in the right place, because when you're putting the belt on, you might find it moves around. It just makes it a lot easier to get this on here. So just loosen them lightly, those bolts. And those 3 bolts. I should have done that when the belt was on before I took it off, but anyway, we'll do that now. So I've just put a little bit of typical. I've done them all 20 newton meters, 50 for the big nut on the idler, and the rest I've just done 20. I've put a little mark down there just so that you can see it. I've put a mark there so you can just check. Now I've just done this up, so I've just nipped up a little bit, and now we can actually tension that with the 6mm Allen key in there. We turn it so that you can see that the pointer's miles away. It's got to be in between those, in that slot there. So in between that slot there. So I'll just turn that round with the 6mm. All right, that's a lot better. All right, that's all tight up there now. So now we're going to just make sure that's done up. So we're now going to take your sliders out. That's out. That's out. And then we'll take the locking one off the bottom, and then we'll rotate the engine clockwise 2 times, and then just check that we can put our pins back in. All right, that's all good. All the lock pins are in, everything's in there, and the pulley's in the right position. The marker on there is good in the middle. So that's it. So I hope this video has helped. This is a really quick cam belt change. It's taken me a bit of time because I've had to video as well, which always takes a bit of time. So you don't need to see me put everything back together. It's dead easy. Put it all back together as the way you took it apart. And yeah, hope this video's helped. Send me a comment if you've got any questions. If you like the channel, subscribe. See you on the next video.